Hey everyone, this is Cortland Dahl. I am a scientist with the Center for Healthy Minds, and I'm one of the trainers and meditation teachers and guides for the Healthy Minds program and Healthy Minds Innovations. So it's great to be here with you today. I could definitely use a little space in my day for some meditation practice, so I'm happy to spend a few minutes with you. Before we get started, I thought I'd say a little bit about who we are and what we do in case you're joining us for the first time. So the Center for Healthy Minds is a research center at the University of Wisconsin. And we do a lot of research really on the nature of well-being and especially how we can actually cultivate well-being, how we can train our minds to flourish, you could say. And Healthy Minds Innovations is a nonprofit which translates all of this research into tools that we can use to actually do that. So we have the Healthy Minds program, which is available as an app. We do a lot of work with organizations through our Healthy Minds at Work program. And today, among the other things that we do, we will spend a little time practicing together. So I'm very happy to do this with you. So feel free if you want to say hi in the chat box, maybe mention where you're joining us from. I am here in Madison, Wisconsin, and I'm going to be joined by a very active little bird who's been outside my window all day. So if you're hearing some chirping, you'll know that's one of my neighborhood birds. And today, the topic that I thought we could explore together, both through a short meditation practice and a few words that I'll say, is how we can actually sit with our emotions in times when there's a lot going on in our lives. And to state the obvious, this is a period when we are facing really unprecedented upheaval in our world. It would have been a huge issue to have the pandemic that we're facing. It would have been a huge issue to have all of the economic turmoil that we're facing. And now, in addition, here in the US and many other places in the world, we have a lot of social issues that are coming to the surface as well. So any one of these actually would have been a huge challenge for us as communities and individually. But the fact that they're all happening together is really quite unprecedented. And each of us, of course, experiences this different ways. But what's probably common is that we're all in different ways feeling overwhelmed at times, feeling stressed out at times, and probably feeling some powerful emotions. So that might show up as frustration. It might show up as anger. It might show up as fear or anxiety. There's any number of strong emotions that can come up. Now, what the science shows and what the practice we're going to be doing today is all about is suggesting that actually the most healthy way that we can use to relate to these strong emotions when they come up is, of course, not to indulge them, not to get carried away by them. We all know what it's like to get caught up in a moment of reactivity and say something or do something towards ourselves or other people that is not skillful. So that clearly is not the best approach. But we also know that repressing them and trying to distract ourselves, trying to avoid feeling what we're feeling, that also is not a particularly skillful or healthy approach. So what the science shows, and what a lot of the world's contemplative meditative traditions have been pointing to for centuries really, is that there's a very different way to relate to our emotions, which is actually a little counterintuitive, because the gateway to this new relationship with our own inner experiences is through openness and acceptance. And these are oftentimes the very last things that we want to accept about ourselves. For example, in my life, especially when I first started meditating, which was now more than 25 years ago, I had a tremendous amount of anxiety. In particular, stuff like this that I'm doing right now would have completely flipped me out. I was phobic of public speaking, actually. In fact, I was so scared of public speaking that one time when I was a teenager, I fainted literally passed out and fell face first in an auditorium with all in high school, with all my friends watching. So I used to be really, really anxious and really, really phobic of public speaking. And if you would have told me at the time that the best way to deal with that would be to open up to my feelings of anxiety, to get curious about them and to feel them fully, I probably would have, I probably just wouldn't have believed it. It would have felt so counterintuitive. But that actually is what the research is telling us, that the first step to transforming how we experience challenging thoughts, challenging memories, challenging emotions, is to very slowly and gently begin to open up to them and to explore what the experience is actually like. What do we actually feel like? What are we thinking when all of these emotions are playing out? What are we feeling in our bodies? Not to dissect that from some kind of cold clinical gaze, but really to feel them intimately and fully. And that itself can be incredibly transformative. So when I started meditating, and as I said, I was experiencing a lot of anxiety, a lot of what I was doing in my day-to-day practice was really bringing my awareness down into my body when I started to feel anxious. And I noticed that, in particular, in this area, in my solar plexus, there would be this very nervous energy happening. I started to notice that there was some repetitive thoughts that would play through my mind like a loop. But when I wasn't directly bringing awareness to them, it's almost as though I didn't see those thoughts. They were simply my reality. But when I started to see them more clearly, I was able to get a little bit of space. So they didn't capture my sense of identity. They didn't catch hold of me in quite the same way when I did that. So this is what, for me, when I was experiencing all of that anxiety, and in more recent times when I notice a little bit of fear or a little bit of frustration or even anger with all the social stuff that's happening here in the United States, when I notice this coming up, simply to feel what is happening in my body. And slowly, through that new way of relating to our emotions, to our thoughts, to our beliefs, all of this stuff, not only does it completely change some of the negative impact that these challenging experiences can have on our lives, on our well-being, even on our relationships. Actually, over time, these can become sources of tremendous empathy, since we fully understand ourselves, and that helps us to really connect with others and to understand where others are coming from. And it also gives us a great deal of insight, where we start to see a little more clearly all of these incredibly complex experiences that really, to a large part, form who we are, what we are as human beings. We just start to see all that more clearly. And that clear seeing and that sense of connection with other people is incredibly freeing and liberating, and it can be deeply, deeply transformative. So before we start with the meditation, it sounds like there's some people from here in the US. I see somebody from Brazil. Great to have you with us. Anybody else, if you want to just chime in and let us know where you're coming from, it'd be great to hear from you. But take a moment, even not even meditating yet, just notice where you're at right now. If you had to describe how you feel right now, what would you say? Do you feel neutral? Do you feel agitated? Do you feel calm? Whatever it is right now, just make note of that. If you want, you can put it in the chat. Just put a single word in the chat. And the first key point here, actually, this is incredibly important, is that the point is not to label any of this good or bad. Whatever you are feeling right now is perfectly fine. It is exactly what you need to be feeling. So the point isn't to change what you're feeling, but simply to notice. So take a moment now. Looks like Laura is joining us from Colombia. Thanks. Great to have you with us. So So you can do this even, here we're not even meditating yet, but it's just checking in, noticing, what do I feel right now? Doesn't matter so much what we label that, it's just getting curious about that. So David wrote, feels that things are changing. So that is certainly an incredibly powerful experience we're all having right now. Everything, so much upheaval. So many of the things we took for granted now seem to be changing or could change. Of course, a lot of this has been changing all the time, but there's almost this illusion that things are always going to be the way they are. So in any case, why don't we, with that preamble, why don't we actually dive in and do a little practice together? So there's some very basic things that for those of you who already meditate know quite well, but it can help to take a moment to check in with your posture. You can find a posture that feels comfortable, balanced, and upright. If you like, you can gently close your eyes. And here again, don't even worry about meditating yet. Just notice how your body feels as you settle into a comfortable posture. Another very helpful tip for getting started is to form an open-hearted motivation for each meditation you do. So you might think to yourself, I'm now going to do this meditation not only to bring some well-being into my own life, but to make the world a better place, to help the people I care about, the communities I live in. So find an inspiring, uplifting motivation for doing this practice here today, and perhaps put that in the form of a short phrase to affirm that motivation. Once you feel connected with that motivation, let go of all the effort, all the impulse to try to concentrate or to control your mind in any way. You don't have to do anything for these next few moments. Simply be. Let go of the doing and be. You can start every meditation with this sense of effortless presence. So whatever you do in your meditation practice, you bring a sense of openness, sense of curiosity, exploration. The point is never to control what's happening. Now, with that attitude, that sense of effortless openness and curiosity, notice how you're feeling right now. What do you feel in your body? What's happening in your body? What thoughts, images, memories, or impressions are moving through your mind right now? The most important piece of this, whatever is happening right now is fine. The point is not to have only pleasant experiences or to avoid the negative ones. It is to simply open up to whatever is happening. So continue to explore whatever is happening in this moment. If you're having any strong feelings or even subtle feelings or emotions, explore them. Just notice what they feel like without needing to change, or push them away, or change them. Even distraction is not a problem. Whenever you meditate, including right now, your mind will probably drift off. That too is normal. So when your mind drifts away into thoughts, or is captured by some other experience, notice that. And when you notice it, bring your awareness back to what you're feeling right now, to any thoughts or emotions that are present, and continue to explore what those experiences are like. And now take a moment to connect with other people through this experience that you're having. Whatever you're experiencing in this moment, or other strong feelings or experiences you're having these days, there are countless people all over the world who are having similar experiences. We oftentimes feel alone or isolated in our challenging moments, but actually, these are experiences that are so fundamental to what it is to be human. So take a moment to use this experience you're having in your life right now or these days as a way to connect with others, and just notice that many others are sharing these experiences. Feel a sense of empathy and connection. In the same way that you don't like to be facing these challenges or having difficult experiences, these other people don't either. So you can take a moment to wish them well, or if you've noticed a challenging feeling or emotion, you might wish in your mind, may you feel ease and peace of mind. May you feel ease and peace of mind, or any phrase that resonates with you. Just repeat that in your mind as you wish other people well. And now again, you can let go of the reflection and bring awareness back to your experience in this moment. This time bring awareness to specific areas of your body where you might hold these emotional experiences. So this might be very obvious, it might be very subtle. So whatever you're feeling right now, see if you can tune into your body and specific places in your body and what it feels like, where these emotions register in your body. You find yourself feeling a strong emotion, at times it can help to take a few slow, calming breaths, and not to change what you're feeling, but to open to what you're feeling. And even if you're not feeling much at all, you just feel neutral, that's perfectly fine. Simply notice what that feels like in your body. What's happening in your body in this moment? Notice that. And now for these last few moments, think about what's happening in your life these days and any situations that you might find challenging, situations that might bring up a strong feeling or emotion. Make sure not to pick the most difficult thing. You want to find something that is challenging but still feels workable, not overwhelming. Just bring the situation to mind and notice what feelings and thoughts begin to arise as this situation comes into your awareness. And as these thoughts and feelings arise, see if you can continue to bring awareness and openness to them as they occur, not getting caught up in them, but not trying to push them away or stop them or change them either. Simply noticing what they're actually like as they arise. And similarly, if there are other people involved in these situations, you might bring some awareness to what they might be thinking or feeling. Of course, we never know for sure what another person's experience is, but in the same way that you're bringing awareness to your own emotions, learning to stay open to them, you might bring that same openness to what others might be feeling. So again, explore that if that seems relevant here in this moment. And finally, you can form an intention to continue to bring awareness after this session, today, tomorrow. Think of these specific situations, again, ones that might be challenging, and form an intention to continue to bring awareness and to let this awareness strengthen your empathy and connection and compassion even toward other people as well as toward yourself. So see if you can form a specific intention to do this. Or you can slowly open your eyes if they were closed. Feel free, if any of you are so inspired, if you want to type something in the chat box, maybe how you're feeling right now, or any other reflections on the practice we just did together. But as you can see here, we did this now as a formal practice. We're taking time just to focus on this inner movement of bringing awareness to our own thoughts and feelings. But this is really something we can do wherever we are, no matter who we're with, whatever we're doing. And this doesn't have to be some big complicated thing. It can be as simple as pausing in the middle of an activity, not even pausing physically. You can continue to do what you're doing, but taking an inner pause and simply noticing for a moment or 2 moments, how do I feel right now? What's happening right now? Or similarly, if you notice what another person might be having a reaction of some sort, and you can simply note, oh, what's happening with this person? How are they feeling right now? Just asking the question and opening up to what's happening, and let that forge a deeper sense of connection, a deeper sense of curiosity and openness and insight into what you're experiencing in any given moment. And I think you'll find, like I did, as I mentioned with my anxiety, if you keep doing this, it gets easier. These moments of awareness, these moments of insight and connection begin to grow. They start happening spontaneously and more naturally, and eventually they can completely transform these most challenging moments of our lives. And these challenges can be sources of insight and wisdom rather than sources of stress and overwhelm. So if this was helpful for you and you enjoyed this, seeing a few comments here, David mentioned feeling grateful. We have a lot of resources available, as I mentioned at the beginning of this. Of course, here on this channel on YouTube here, if you haven't, you feel free to subscribe, and you'll get notifications about all the guided meditations and things we offer. We also have the Healthy Minds app. You just search Healthy Minds program in the App Store of whatever device you have. You'll be able to download for free the Healthy Minds program, which is completely freely available. There's no hidden fees or charges. We're a nonprofit, so this is all offered on a donation basis. So we really want to make sure this is available to everyone. So that provides a very step-by-step guidance with many, many practices like this one. I see from your comments, it sounds like some of you might already be using that. But in any case, it's great to spend some time with you. Again, I'm Cortland Dahl, and part of the team here at the Center for Healthy Minds and Healthy Minds Innovations. And I'm very, very grateful that you took some time in your day to join me, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. So take care, everyone.